Come out of COVID. COVID affected practically every country economically. So the same struggles that Kenyans are passing through are the same struggles which are everywhere. But because a person like Raila still is looking on how to go and catch his friend, because you see he's still bitter. Let's also not forget about, because if it is about cost of living, why do you need mediation? You get it? Then the same Raila is saying he cannot meet RUTO alone. He wants a mediator, like the president of, I think he gave an example like the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, or any other person. So he wants someone to mediate. But this person is mediating. What is he mediating? That shows you that it's not about cost of living. Someone is being deployed as a peacemaker outside the country is probably being presumed, because no one has evidence that is actually sponsoring. So that is an assumption. We now also assuming that is causing trouble, and it is being sent to bring peace to other regions is also another is a topic of another day. If you are going for demonstrations, my dear, my sister, my brother, your body is the one which is in front. Why is it that when demonstrations are happening, these politicians are directing from behind? Why are they not in front?
TV. Hello everyone, welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Praise and I'm here with the guest of the day.
Good morning, good afternoon. I'm sure we are in different time zones, so wherever you're watching, greetings.
Alright, so today I have brought my analyst. I have so many questions for him today about what's happening and what happened like many weeks and months, you know, since like RUTO became the president of Kenya. Demonstrations in and out. What do you think is bringing the demonstrations?
Of course, I've been following Kenya's politics for quite some time, but I follow them positively. I don't follow them. I don't have any side I support or I deny, because at the end of the day, I'm an outsider. I'm an East African, so I just follow what is happening, because at the end of the day, really, it's my right to follow, but I don't interfere.
Okay, so RUTO is the president of Kenya, yes. The one that was elected by the majority of Kenya. First of all, people don't agree, like half the number of Kenyans don't agree that RUTO won. Like they think maybe like they cheated, and that's why I think these days they are demonstrating because of the cost of living.
Yeah, of course, at the end of the day, we shouldn't forget, let's call a pie, an A, not an A B. One, there were elections in Kenya, which we appreciate. As they say, democracy, after 3 to 4 years, you need to change presidency. Kenya did the same thing. After the expiry term of Kenyatta, new elections came in. These elections had the main rivals in the names of RUTO and Raila Odinga. These people went for the ballot. It was a secret ballot, like any other country does, especially if you are following the Western democracy. The results show RUTO won. Then his rival is Raila Odinga decides to say that he's the one who won. So at the end of the day, we are seeing a situation where there is a winner and there is another one who in courts says he won. He disputes the elections. So which is which? As we're just watching, so what do you want us to talk about in that situation? Because we have a winner who is RUTO. We have, I would call a second run-up. I don't want to call him a loser. Is a second run-up, because in competitions there always has to be number one and number two, the first and the last. So he was just a second run-up because there are also others. So he wasn't even the last. I think the other two candidates, if I may recall. So the situation is like that. One lost, one, another one also won in his own way.
So now there are demonstrations going on, and it's because of the high cost of living. Do you think the high cost of living is only in Kenya, or is it a cause for them to demonstrate? You think Ruto is the one causing the high cost of living?
No, at the end of the day, I don't think the high cost of living, the high unemployment rate, all those are just excuses. Because Ruto is looking for his friend. By the way, let's also not forget that these guys have worked together in the previous governments. So they are friends. They know each other. You get it? So just you see, the world has just come out of COVID. COVID affected practically every country economically. So the same struggles that Kenyans are passing through are the same struggles which are everywhere. But because a person like Raila still is looking on how to go and catch his friend, because you see he's still bitter. Let's also not forget about it. He's bitter, and of course, even if I put myself in Raila's shoes, I can also be bitter. You cannot stand almost 3-4 times when you are losing, and at the end of the day, also let's also not forget that there's what we call age. Age always catches up with someone. So at the end of the day, if his dream, like they all used to dream that we shall be pirates when we are young, but at the end of the day we are not pirates, he might have dreamed that he will be president one time for Kenya, but now also age is against him. So maybe his bitterness should also be understood, and that's why I think the Kenyan situation should be held as a fragile situation. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we also don't want to see things which are like happening in Niger, in West Africa, those coups, because one is dissatisfied. We should also understand Raila. Raila has been on the ballot for several times. He has not passed through. So how best can we help him? Because at the end of the day, we're actually looking for a solution for Raila, not even for Ruto.
But do you think there is a solution for Kenya Constitution has like age limit? How old is he, and do you think he cannot come back in the next term?
Raila can still come back. I don't think they have any age limit. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't forget that this is a body we are wearing. The more years that go up, because Raila is in his 70s, if he goes in the 80s, of course we know also Biden has become the president when he's almost in his 80s. Even Raila can still do it. But surely Raila also needs help. Let's also not run around the bush, only talking that because it's democracy and someone won and the other one lost, we also have to ignore Raila. We should, I think, also look at the human perspective of it. Where is human, where he has lost, maybe he needs some bit of counseling, or he's also having people around him who might be selfish and are also not maybe advising him well.
So, why is he continuously demonstrating? You think he's trying to sabotage Ruto so that Ruto finishes 5 years just in fights and doing nothing?
I cannot rule out that, but at the end of the day, like I've told you, I'm looking at it from the human perspective. I'm also putting on Raila's shoes. Losing all those number of times, then of course one, there's what we call anger management. Maybe he has also failed to manage his anger. The people around him who were also politics is also like calculations. You try your level best. If my friend passes through, I also become like a minister or do that. So you might find those people around him are also bitter, and their bitterness, I think he sees the whole group as part of him. Instead of maybe trying to calm down, he's not doing it. Because you see, if the demonstrations which are happening in Kenya or which have been happening for the last few days, though this week I think they have stopped the demonstrations to just to mourn those people who lost their lives and property. You get it? But you see, us outsiders, even people within Kenya, surely let's also not lie ourselves that it's about the cost of living. Raila himself this week came out and he said the Tanzanian president Uhuru, that lady, our honorary woman president in East Africa, was in Kenya. Well, last week or the other week, she had gone to mediate between Raila and RUTO. Because if it is about cost of living, why do you need mediation? You get it? Then the same Raila is saying he cannot meet RUTO alone. He wants a mediator, like the president of, I think he gave an example, like the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, or any other person. So you want someone to mediate, but this person is mediating. What is he mediating? That shows you that it's not about cost of living. Then
About what?
I think it's about personal egos. Then RUTO is also not seated. He wakes up.
RUTO is not seated.
He wakes up. He has his friend's phone number. He has Raila's phone number. That's why I say the friend. But he goes on Twitter and invites him on Twitter and says he can access him wherever he wants. So surely, we still demonstrating because of the high cost of living. You get it? Then when you also bring in a dimension of Kenyatta, you see, of course, also Kenyatta has been Uhuru has been not happy with the government. Of course, the RUTO's government. He says it's going against his family, his mother, his kids, that they want to take the guns the families have owned for some times. And Uhuru thinks that it's RUTO who is doing it maybe as a payback, because you see towards the end of Uhuru's term, I think he had some disagreements with RUTO, who was his deputy then. Then this same Uhuru says that if RUTO wanted him, he knows where to find him. They can still sit down and talk. This same Uhuru, we are seeing him, I think yesterday. Yesterday was 28th?
Yeah.
28th of June.
July. Yeah.
He was with Raila, trying to mourn those people who have lost their lives, have lost their property. You get it? So now it has become a triangle of three. You get it? So, and at the end of the day, let's also forget about these three people. These are just individuals, really. Let's look at the bigger Kenya. But these three people can cause havoc. That's why they need to be held with care, with utmost sensitivity, to see where the problem could be coming from. I'm not supporting any of these three. One, RUTO could be wrong. He could be looking at Kenyatta and says, this is my time to pay back. Then, but if RUTO, you are looking at things like that, I may have one advice for you. You know, what goes round comes round. The same thing that Kenyatta was doing to you, and you forgot that at some point he will go away. The time came. You know, they always say that time will tell. Time came when he's no longer the president and you're the president. So you shouldn't also forget that that same time will come when you are no longer the president, another person will be the president and will still be doing the same thing to you. Then with Uhuru, I think you should also stop having baby cries. Because whatever he's doing in the media is also, I think he's also trying to cry. He also has the friend's phone number. He can still access RUTO. So even if they had their own disagreements, he should still also go back and access him, other than now start bringing out those small things that are personal to themselves. I think that's going below the belt, really. You're a former president. Try to get back to your friend. Yes, you had fights, but I'm sure when you sit down one-on-one, you can always come out with an amicable solution. Then, of course, with this triangle of the three, of course, you can also not rule out Raila. Maybe this triangle of three should sit, the three of them, and try to sort out whatever differences they have. Because me, I still don't agree to Raila's option of saying that he needs a mediator between him and RUTO. What are they mediating? Because if you are telling us a cost of living, and now again you are saying you need someone to mediate, is it surely necessary? I think let's also try to know that these are internal matters of countries. Has Raila looked around Kenya and failed to get surely a person who can sit down and mediate? Because you say at the end of the day, this is like a family, this is like a house. When you start washing your dirty linen in public, the more you bring third parties, I can assure you, the more you will not get a solution. So try as much as possible to avoid third parties. You have each other's phone numbers. Call yourselves, meet, have coffee. If you don't want to meet in Kenya, Uganda have very beautiful places. You can come and meet this side. We can even prepare for you coffee. You know, all the things you need, we can give you. We can give you all the support. But I am sure if you sat, the three of you, because I cannot say we are solving a problem between RUTO and Raila and forgetting about Kenyatta, because he's among the three. He's a former head of state. He also still has some bit of influence. So at the end of the day, I think what is our main interest? Our main interest is to see that the differences have been solved. And once those differences are solved, then even these things we are talking about, the cost of living, I know it also has a solution. The cost of living and a high unemployment rate, all those have a solution. The solution actually lies with those three people, because you also need to sit down with your economists, government advisors, and you derive a formula for fighting high cost of living, because also the demonstrations are not going to bring down the cost of living. They're actually going to increase the cost of living. The more people demonstrate and are not working, there is going to bring a lot of disparity, and you know what disparity brings. So let's avoid the extreme. Those are the extremes.
Okay. I have another question for you. You know, Uhuru was quiet. They accused him of sponsoring the demonstrations, and he kept quiet. He didn't talk until they came out to withdraw security from his mother and also raided his son's home. When they did that, now you see, they didn't have demonstrations last week. And like now we don't know like if they're going to demonstrate next weekend. So that's why they're saying because they attacked him and he's the sponsor of the demonstrations, now that's the reason the demonstrations now, like, they didn't demonstrate last Wednesday.
Me, I wouldn't look at it like that. Because you see, I think these people are at a stage where they need to talk. They've also realized they need to talk. That's why you see, even when they are not demonstrating, they are also bringing in those ideas of why can't you bring a mediator and we talk. This one then comes, why do you have to go after my family? I know you need me. Why don't you come to me direct? You get it? Otherwise, you would have seen these demonstrations happen, or even they are not happening, wouldn't be hearing such kind of exchanges. Maybe it's also a good start from there.
Okay, my next question. Uhuru is a retired president. He willingly handed over power to RUTO. What does a retired president do? He's retired, but he's more active than even when he was the president of Kenya. What do you have to say about that? If he's retired, then it's supposed to be so active like this in politics. I thought if you retire, like, you go home, they give you a package, and then that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, he's getting his pension plus all the other benefits. Though he was also deployed by RUTO to act, I think, as a peacemaker within the region. So he goes as an envoy from Kenya. Has been, I think, to Congo. Has been to Ethiopia, where there are those wars. They need peace, so he's been deployed as a peacemaker. So of course it's also funny that someone is being deployed as a peacemaker outside the country is probably being presumed, because no one has evidence that is actually sponsoring. So that is an assumption. Now also assuming that is causing trouble and it is being sent to bring peace to other regions is also another is a topic of another day.
Okay, my last question. The last time they demonstrated, Raila was sick and he didn't participate in the election. Do you think he was sick or something was going on behind the doors? What else do I want to ask you? Answer that one.
Of course, you see, let's also not forget that these are human beings. The same way I have fear in me when I see a lion is the same way Raila will do. So, but because him being a politician, we've really observed politicians for a very long time. We've seen. Let's even not go far. Let me give examples of how much we're talking about Kenya. Let me give an example of like Uganda. When Museveni was in the bush, the family was in Tanzania. After Tanzania, it went to Sweden. They only came back when he had captured power. The same thing when Kagame was in the bush. The family was first in Uganda, then later on, it went, I think, also either Sweden or one of those European countries. So I think let's also say things as they are. I don't think he was sick. I think he just didn't want to be a collateral damage. One thing people, and of course everyone who is in politics, they understand no one has monopoly over violence. They can also become a collateral damage. Some of those stray bullets can hit you. So for him, maybe he didn't trust that day. He said, these people might have planned for
3
me.
days.
Let me get sick and I'll remain in Malindi. I think he was in Malindi with the family.
But you can imagine. For me, that's why I don't trust politicians. And you know why I don't even believe these demonstrations? People who are losing their lives are these common people that we don't even know. Let them demonstrate, and a big politician also like lose anyway. Like if it makes sense to me. Why are these people that are nobodies are the ones who are dying? We have big political influencers, we have MPs, what nothing's happening to them. When they begin demonstrations, are they going back to their homes? Why are they, for them, not even getting a single injury on their finger?
Okay, maybe that question I could answer it in this way. I don't want to answer it direct. I could answer it as an advice to demonstrators, the other people.
Exactly.
If you are going for demonstrations, my dear, my sister, my brother, your body is the one which is in front. Why is it that when demonstrations are happening, these politicians are directing from behind? Why are they not in front?
TV.
You people, when we were growing up, they used to tell us that cats have 9 lives. You are not a cat. You have 1 life. They are going to shoot you, they are going to disable you, or you are going to die. It's your family to lose. So yes, the Constitution gives you a right to demonstrate, but please, demonstrate and know the gun knows no one. That bullet, once it has entered your body, you are going to deal with it. Once it has destroyed your business, you are going to deal with them. So the question you've asked, I think I should give a piece of advice to the would-be individuals who hear politicians' calls that let's go on the streets, and they forget that they also have families which are going to be mourning when they are dead, when you are in hospital and you cannot pay your hospital bills. and I've seen it several in Kenya. Patients are actually imprisoned in hospitals when they fail to pay bills. When those things are happening, you will be passing through the things alone. Support your candidates, support your politicians, but I would advise have one leg in front, another one back, just in case things don't work out. I would even advise those ones who are going to demonstrate, don't go putting on these high heeled for ladies. You should go putting on canvas in case things are not working out. Then you scatter, because you're scattering for your life.
So finally, they said they paused to mourn those who lost their lives.
Yeah.
Since they paused to mourn for those who lost their lives, are they going to go back in demonstrations? And definitely when they go back in demonstrations, more people are going to die. So why you think they'll again pause to mourn? Like, it makes no sense for me.
Exactly. That's why we are advising them. And may I insist, I'm advising the three people. The three people can put a stop to all this we are seeing. These demonstrations can stop by a mere phone call among the three. So let them see what they can do best. Because you see, if you say like Nairobi is the capital of Africa. We also want to be proud, as part of East Africans. However much we are not Kenyans, but we are East Africans. So once Nairobi is stable, we are also stable, our families are stable, everyone is stable. And that's our long-term goal. We need to see when life is normal.
Alright, I think we have to come to the end of this video. We have talked and summarized about demonstrations, and I guess you have taken the advice that your Ugandan colleague gave you. So if you like this kind of content, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel and share this video with your friends, and turn on your post notification bell so that whenever we upload, you are the first person to see the video. Otherwise, thank you so much, and bye bye.